Welcome back to the Tripping Off podcast. Quick question. Have you ever sat with a trauma client, done everything right, followed the treatment plan, but something still wasn't reaching them?
Yes. Jesse and I spent our careers working with complex trauma and PTSD, and we kept hitting that same exact wall. That's what led us to hypnotherapy. It's genuinely changed the way we do therapy and the way that we work with our patients and clients.
We built trauma-focused hypnotherapy for people who want better tools for their work.
The course consists of 50 CEUs, fully self-paced, and it's certified with the Department of Health.
It's a protected title, not just another weekend certification course. And we offer group discounts if your team wants to train together. Link is in the description down below. Let's get into the episode.
Hi.
Hey, welcome back to the Tripping Off podcast. Continuing the love series, we talked about attraction, and now we're gonna talk about the body. Sure are.
Stuff we deal with a lot.
It feels like love, Zach.
I'm sure it does.
It feels like love. Oh man. How many times has a client come in and said that?
Or the other one is the kind of the opposite of that. I want my partner to make me feel insert whatever.
Yeah, insert. And I think there's a lot of confusion that happens, and that's what I want to address today, is the confusion that can take place where someone's like, am I in love? Like these feelings I'm experiencing in my body, or am I just activated?
Yeah.
And that seems to be like the repetitive theme that we're kind of talking about here is this love or is this activation? Mm-hmm. You know, continuing from our last conversation, there's a lot of things that feel familiar that we label as love because of our past experiences, usually with trauma, that feel familiar, but they're not actually love.
Yeah.
And then what do you do with that when you find out that you've recreated some of these experiences? Should I break up or should I press on? And when is the wrong time to press on? I'm pressing into something that's not going to be good for me or for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we do? And how does a hypnotherapist give advice? That's such a personal choice. You know, I get people all the time, they're like, should I get a divorce? You know, all the time they're asking, should I get a divorce? And I'm certainly not going to tell them, because that's a huge thing that I don't want to take responsibility for, but I want to give them the tools to, well, assess accurately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should I stay or should I go?
And the thing that just came up in my mind is like, what is more hypnotic than love? The only thing that competes with it, I think, would be trauma. And so that's why we're oftentimes in the dilemma that we're in.
Yeah. I think the thing that comes to my mind is the classic, every therapist quotes, the body keeps the score.
Oh yeah, you came up with a good one.
But I wrote it down so I could reference it, but the phrase that we came up with is the body keeps the score, but the mind keeps editing.
Yeah.
When I say that, what comes to your mind?
I mean, it feels like a bag of bricks or golf balls hitting me in the back of the head.
Or a pillowcase full of batteries?
Yeah. The mind keeps editing. It's like, yeah, this trauma reaction that I have, and the whole body love connection, trauma connection is so impactful, because I have this idea that I work with a lot of clients on, and that idea is from my own experience, which has felt so much trauma in the past that I don't know sometimes if I'm being activated because I don't know if I'm being activated because I'm feeling this huge sense of love, or if I'm activated because like this is really dangerous. Or I'm activated because this person is representing something from my past, or I'm activated because this new person is just like the person that assaulted me. And I think that what happens so often in relationships is that the trauma gets so normalized that when we see it in a safer place, especially a new place that has all of the endorphins that the new place has, like a new relationship, a new job, we start looking at everything with rose-colored glasses, and then it turns into me like putting on a pedestal characteristics that I should never be dealing with.
Yeah.
And then I get confused about, oh, well, if that's love, if I do that enough, that's love, then that's all I'm worth. Or I said this earlier, which is like, am I really in love, or is this person just acting like the narcissist that I grew up with? They're both familiar.
Yeah.
They're both invigorating. And then unconsciously, I think what happens so often is that people will go, well, this time it doesn't have to have that outcome. And that's where we get into a lot of the fix-it behavior.
I mean, I think will it have that outcome is even a couple steps down the road of, I think first being able to differentiate, is this a trauma familiarity, or is this a relationship like love, is the first step. And I don't think a lot of people even get to that place. No. A lot of people come in, they're like, this person feels, I felt a connection. And it's like, well, what are you connecting with? And so I think
your trauma.
I think a hypnotherapist's first job is to kind of ask that. Like, okay, you felt something, but before we just jump to this something means this thing, like I felt a connection, that means love. Well, there's a step there. It could mean something else. And so we've got to sort of diagnose that piece first of, is this just familiar or not? And the part that I'll add to it is, just because something feels familiar, it doesn't mean that you should run away. There's the right person to press into that with and the wrong person to press into that with. But the things that we're talking about here must happen. You got to have a relationship in order to work through these things with somebody, because we're broken in relationships and we heal relationships. That's another great quote. I forget who said it, but that's kind of what we're talking about. So what do you tell a client when they feel a connection? Like, how do you help them diagnose?
Yeah, I just want to know what that connection is. Just having a connection, I don't care if it stops there. I want to know, what is this connected to? What is it about that? And, going back to Erickson, nobody changes unless there's a current experience of a future difference, and future change, a future new life. And so I got to know, as a hypnotherapist, I have to know what part of this person is actually connecting, or what parts are actually connecting. Is it just excitement? Well, that's not going to last. Is it just familiarity? Well, that's not going to last either. How do you create a healthy space in those contexts?
Yeah.
For growth.
I think a great question that I ask my clients is, well, when was the time that you felt this before?
Yeah.
Because if we're connecting to something in the past, and I ask that question of when have you felt like this before, then you can start to explore of like, oh, well, there were times when my narcissistic dad would treat me in this way, and they would like love bomb me, or after doing something difficult, I would feel, after doing something traumatic to me, I would feel connected because of the repair, the bombing that happens afterwards. And so it's like, okay, well, there's a good sign for us that this is not probably a healthy dynamic that's taking place. And then I think about like attachment styles too, right? If I'm anxiously attached, and here's a person who feeds off of that anxious attachment because it fuels their narcissism, it may be a very compelling, intense, emotional dynamic, but certainly not a healthy one. But you also have to start there in order to both pieces of that couple to move into a healthier direction. You need the person who is okay with your anxious attachment in order to transcend the anxious attachment. And then their avoidant attachment, they have to be willing to transcend their avoidant attachment. I mean, anxious and avoidant, it's a sexy dynamic.
Yeah. Well, I'm going back to Jung there too. It's like the goal of life is to transcend our trauma. And I think that's we talk about healing a lot, but I think that can be suggested as like moving past or forgetting, or incorporating the trauma in a way that makes it so that I'm no longer being affected by it. I never want to not be affected by my trauma. That's a recipe for being re-traumatized.
Yeah. I had that conversation with a therapist of mine. A bunch of friends were going to see a horror movie that involved it's like a slasher film, and so there's some bondage type of stuff going on, and then things. And I was like, that just makes me feel so ill. I was like, I don't want to see that kind of movie. What's wrong with me? My therapist is like, well, Jesse, think about your past. That's going to affect you in a way that they'll never understand. we can work on that, but is that a worthwhile clinical goal for you?
Right.
Given your trauma, like, do you really want to desensitize yourself to the truth of your story? And my therapist was like, I would argue that's not a great, like, therapeutic goal for you.
Well,
I was like, oh.
Conversely, I've been, I love horror now.
Yeah.
But I had the same experience. It took Thea coming into my life, who had the passion and had the time and had the space to be able to say, you don't have to, but if you would like to understand this in a deeper way, this being my connection to horror, because there was that space, there was that freedom to do that, when I would have said the same thing, but in this context, it did become the time and the space for me to process that. But that's a perfect metaphor, because don't take out of anything that we're saying today as there's a rule and a pattern for you to be able to say, I should or I should not be with this person. That's the question, like kind of what you were getting at, is like, after all of this, it's the space that we create, no matter who the people are. If both of the all of the people in that dynamic are able to create that space of, let's work through this together, let's work through this at whatever pace you need, and let's spend the time on processing this stuff. So is it a good thing for you to process horror? That's a dumb question.
Right.
Do you have the space to address your traumas? Yeah.
Before we get back to the episode, let me ask you something.
Have you ever sat with a trauma patient, done solid clinical work, followed the treatment plan, said the exact right thing, and you still felt like you were circling the actual problem?
Zach and I lived in that frustration for years. We were licensed, experienced, and trained professionals, still running into the same limitations time and time again. Hypnotherapy was not just a gimmick for us. It was the missing piece that allowed us to target these symptoms directly and work with the subconscious processes that were driving these symptoms.
And that's why we built Trauma-Focused Hypnotherapy. It's a 50 CEU course that is fully self-paced, meant for medical professionals. It's certified with the Department of Health, and so it ties directly to your clinical license.
This is not a weekend badge. It's a protected title, allowing you to do the deeper clinical work necessary to work with those trauma clients. If you care about this field and you're passionate about the work we are doing in raising the standard of mental health care in this field, subscribing to the course does more than just give you the skills that we're talking about. It actually supports us in continuing this work, making this podcast, and teaching other professionals so they can help people live the lives they were always meant to live. The link is in the description down below. Join us and let's build something better together. Now back to the episode. Yeah, hopefully the answer for each of you is yes as well.
Right.
But you might not be in a relationship where that's possible. And so I think the question that I ask is, one, what is this feeling? Let's make sure that we're accurate instead of just jumping to, oh, I'm in love. And then two, like, okay, if it's triggering, that's going to be a part of love and romance.
Yeah.
But then the second question, my non-starter, is there trust and mutual respect? If this person is not respectful and they are pushing you in kind of non-consenting ways into stuff, that's going to be a non-starter for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, do you trust them?
Yeah.
Like, can they be trusted? Look at their life. I mean, that's what the dating process is about, is kind of,
or should be.
Who's supposed to be? Is it ascertaining, is this a trustworthy person? In an ideal situation, that's why you go play putt-putt golf with somebody. Because if they're throwing their club and snapping, the shaft of their putter because they missed the shot, like, this is not a relationship of safety.
No.
Though it may feel exciting, right?
I saw a reel this last week where it was just this couple, and when they brought out the cake, they were at their wedding and they brought out the cake, and
I think I saw this one.
Yeah, and then the guy just like slaps it.
Yep.
And gets so angry, and the wife is just like
standing there.
And then later in the
zooms
clip,
in on her face, right?
Yeah,
and she's just,
she like starts defending him and saying things like, well, like he asked for it to be like this and it wasn't, and nobody was watching it. And I was like, That's not a good sign.
No. But she's probably interpreting it as assertive leadership, which she probably craves. That's not assertive leadership.
And where did that come from? It came from somebody probably behaving like that in her past to where she understands it.
Right.
And that's comfortable.
Right.
So then it becomes interpreted by the brain as safe. But it's not safe.
We love to fall into our roles. They feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
We were brainstorming as we started this, some things that a hypnotherapist should look out for when it comes to the body. And I just want to share these that we wrote down to notice how each of these can be both love or trauma. Right? So shallow or held breath when describing a romantic partner. That could be excitement of love. That could be trauma response. Forward leaning or collapsed posture. Forward leaning, hypervigilance, collapsed posture, submission. What is your response? Now hypervigilance, like I'm invested, I'm intense in this relationship, versus this feeling of collapse, which is like I feel comfortable around them. But that could also be the hypervigilance or submission.
One example of that I see with a lot of clients is something that I don't think that we ever had to deal with, which is sharing your location.
Oh, it's so common right now.
I mean, what a trap.
Yeah.
Not saying you should or you shouldn't. I'm saying it's a trap.
Jaw clenching, hand wringing, or foot tapping during positive relational memories. It's like, hold on, that's a positive thing, but look at your body. It's screaming.
What's it screaming?
A tightening in the chest or throat, described as butterflies or longing.
I was going to say butterflies.
It's butterfly. No, it's fear.
It could be cortisol.
Your gut is clenching and trying to get rid of the excess food that's not digested so you can run or fight. But you think it's butterflies. Dissociative drift, glazed eyes, flat affect, paired with language about deep connection. When a person starts to dissociate, you'd be like, oh, their head's in the clouds because they're in love. They're dissociated because the situation is too painful for them to actually stay connected with. And then just other hyperarousal stuff like flushed skin, accelerated speech, heart pounding, described as passion when it's again an activation response.
Yeah, we don't know. And unless there is a conversation about that, an open conversation. How many couples come in and are like, I just feel this energy. And when we really get down to it, we really find out that there is usually a narcissist, an abuser, an assaulter that first hurt them, and they had to turn that into a positive experience or an experience that doesn't affect them, so they just carry on with life. And then that turned into a situation where they just coded it as positive. How many times couples? Me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think about my relationship with my wife, right? Like, I'm the oldest of four, where didn't have a lot of feelings of being protected and supported. Felt like very much on my own at certain points, and so here I am. Like, I have to attend to all the things. I can trust no one. Everything rests on my back. And I meet my partner, right, Joy, who loves that about me because nobody would do that for her, right? And so here I am. My control is a trauma response, but because of her trauma response, she craves that control because there wasn't safety for her. And so we find each other in the midst of our trauma.
Right.
And so then the process of our relationship over the past over a decade has been moving beyond.
Transcending exactly
that. And so now there will be times where I give her control, even though that makes me very nervous. And there'll be times where I will not tell her what to do, even though that makes her very nervous. She's like, well, what if I do the thing that you don't want to do?
Yep.
So the question I ask couples, like as a hypnotherapist, ask your couples this question. Like, if you were to say some of these things to your partner, how would they respond?
Yeah.
And most of the time they know. Like, if you were to bring in the questioning that you're currently doing in therapy to your partner, would they be critical, dismissive,
passive,
unreceptive, or aggressive to those things, or would they hold space? I think that's probably one of the best ways to actually use that term.
Well, and it becomes a positive, like, double bind in that situation, because it's like when you create that space, you give her a little bit more control and decision and authority. And that's difficult for you. It's also difficult for her. But if there is that space, both of you are able to say, let's transcend this and let's do this together. Instead of what happens with most couples is there's some burnout and one partner goes, you do it. And the other person's like, wow, now you've destroyed that safe space. Now I don't want to do this, especially because all my security and safety is built on you playing that role. And then it just becomes this, like, throwing bombs over the metaphoric wall that's being built between the two of you.
Yeah.
Right. Another example of this is, like, just in the normalization process, that I got pulled over and a police officer tried to give me a lecture about how I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. And he saw it and wrote me a ticket and then tried to give me a lecture about how dangerous it was. I was like, bro, this is not the most dangerous thing that I've done today. I love the danger. It's exciting.
I ride a motorcycle to and from work every day.
Yeah.
There's no seatbelts on those.
What are you talking about? Like, I get it. It's the law.
He's not wrong.
I deserve the ticket for not doing that, but you don't need to give me a lecture about how it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times did I almost die? It's not happening in the 0.6 miles that I have to drive home, and you saw me trying to cross the street without a seatbelt on.
Yeah.
These aren't the same. Now, that translated into my relationship is like, that's really scary for my wife, the fact that I find danger so exciting because she's so danger averse. Now, that has caused her to do more dangerous things and live a life that doesn't have as many safety precautions.
It's a little freer.
But that's because I created the safety.
Right.
I've also been like, maybe I shouldn't continue collecting stories where I should have died.
I had a fantastic conversation with a client just last week, where they were talking about how much they disliked a certain person or type of people. And as we explored it, I was like, oh my gosh, everything is coming into connection because they don't like this certain group of people, but they're married to that group of people.
Oh goodness.
And so, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get it. And so, like, I think about this police officer, I think there are many people who, like, that lecture probably helps a lot. But it's because they have not taken on responsibility for their life and have displaced it onto, it's the police officer, the government, the rules job to keep me safe. It's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
And so, same thing with this client. They are married to that person because they have disowned those parts of themselves, and all the things they hate about that group of people are the functions that their partner plays in their life to keep them safe. Mm-hmm. They don't like the aggressiveness, the assertiveness, the can care less attitude. They're very sensitive, emotional, intuitive, and so they avoid so many situations that have such intense anxiety because they have found themselves in a relationship where they're totally able to displace those things onto their partner, and their partner loves it, and like it really fulfills them. It's like, okay, so here's the dynamic. Now time for both to transcend, if you want to grow. And some people are so locked into that system they don't want to grow.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the double bind. It could go for the positive, where you're both helping each other because there is that safe space, or it could go to the negative, where it just doubles down on itself, and then it's ultimately going to break apart.
Yeah. So Jesse's 3 questions that help someone determine, should I stay in this relationship or not? Number 1, what are you feeling? Let's describe it consciously to bring the subconscious conscious. And then when is the time that you felt that before? That helps us know what that feeling is.
That's great.
Step 1. Step 2 is there respect and trust in this relationship to bring the consciousness of that emotion into the relationship for it to be discussed.
And I say like security and commitment to that process too.
Yes.
Just to add that to be more specific. Because there has to be that security to say like, I see this with couples a lot. I don't feel like you'll hold me. I will. Let me show you. I'm questioning our relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you won't spiral off. Sorry, third question. But,
No, that's good.
But I think that commitment is also really important too. Commitment to the process.
Then it's the willingness to, like, I'll bring up those conversations in my relationship, and it certainly doesn't feel nice for my partner.
Sure.
But she's still, even though this is uncomfortable, I'll still hold space as we explore this together. So just because they're not comfortable with it, will they shut it down and say, I will not proceed with you? And there's times where certain things, we weren't able to talk about because she still needed some growth or I still needed some growth. But there was the commitment to growth to get to the place where there was safety to bring those things into conscious conversation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, like, okay, we can work on this relationship. It's not an over breakup, divorce type of situation. Which leads to the takeaways.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, I wrote down this quote. I need to not bring any problem to the relationship.
False.
Oh yeah. We need the space in the relationship to bring the problems there.
It's the beauty of relationships.
It really is. And so the goal here is not to be perfect, because I think a lot of people will hear this and be like, okay, I have some stuff to work on my own. So that way I don't have to bring this in the relationship. No, you want to include them in the process. That's bonding. I mean, that's romance. When you've seen somebody over decades of their life transcend the broken person they were to become a better version of themselves, and you are intimately connected to that process, that's love. And so what I'm suggesting to you as a hypnotherapist is use hypnotherapy and formal trance to create the experience for your client of what that love feels like, so they can have a new experience and then start to duplicate that experience in their relationship outside the therapy session. That's what a hypnotherapist's job is in the process of love, specifically when it comes to the body.
It's great.
Healing doesn't mean becoming someone who doesn't get activated. It means developing the capacity to return to safety. And so, I guess for this week, notice where love feels like relief versus where it feels like bracing, because that contrast is important data.
Really important.
Anything to add?
That's great.
Man, that was a fast train to get to a lot of stuff. I hope there's some great questions. The Discord link is down below. Let's follow up there and have some conversations. If you're watching on YouTube, put some stuff in the comment section, subscribe, and share it with that friend needs to understand the love in their relationship a little bit too, because if we're not sharing this information, what good does it do? That's the goal of this. Hope you support the channel. If you like the work that we do, there's ways to support us and make sure that we can continue to bring this information to those who need it most. But until then, stay tuned, because next time we're talking about communication in love. And do we got some points about that. We'll see you in that episode. Until then, bye.